Right now, on the National Weather Desk, a wild weekend of weather. California and the Sierra Nevada slammed by a major winter storm.
Mostly like, wow, this is incredible. First thought. Second is, I hope I make it through this.
Fires continue to burn in Texas. We'll look at how the weather is making things worse.
Maybe just 25 yards away, that burning ember will light up an entire tree in flames, and then the wildfire spreads from there.
This winter has been one of the warmest on record. What that means for snowfall totals. And those warm winter temperatures mean more pests.
Everything's confused. You know, it's not quite summer, not spring, it's still winter.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm Amira David. We begin in the West today, where the effects of a powerful blizzard continue to cause problems across Northern California and Nevada. The California Highway Patrol spent much of the weekend digging cars out of the snow, many stuck along Interstate 80, which has been partially shut down due to whiteout conditions and high winds. The storm began barreling into the region on Thursday, prompting widespread blizzard warnings for a 300-mile stretch of the Sierra Nevada. The National Weather Service is predicting a second weaker storm hitting the area today. Outside of the Fresno area, residents are cleaning up after a tornado touched down there on Friday. The tornado caused some damage to an elementary school, including a portable classroom. The school district says some students were inside at the time, but no injuries were reported. And take a look at this. Employees at a ski resort near Lake Tahoe, California, saw a ton of snow on Saturday morning. A video shared by the resort shows how high winds overnight caused heavy snow to pile up against a door. The resort went on to say because of those high winds and low visibility, they were forced to close on Saturday. Incredible video. And speaking of high winds, this was the scene at Mammoth Mountain on Saturday, where winds reached more than 100 miles per hour. The winds were a major factor in this storm, leading to downed trees and power lines and causing near whiteout conditions. Reno was also hit pretty hard by the storm. As we mentioned, Interstate 80 in the Sierras was shut down between Reno and Northern California due to the extreme winter weather. Officials say they hope to have the interstate open back up sometime later today. We will have more on that closure. But first, let's turn to Sophia Lesios, who has more on the storm's impacts.
One thing we're seeing with this storm in particular is extremely strong winds at the higher elevations of the Sierra Nevada. And when you couple the heavy snow and strong wind gusts, 70, 80 miles an hour in some areas, a few locations have even seen winds over 100 miles an hour, you can get nearly whiteout conditions.
Whiteout conditions like Lake Tahoe, leaving California Highway Patrol officers getting hit in the face with snow.
We're doing our best, so thank you.
Blizzard conditions caused CHP Truckee to close I-80 from Colfax to the Nevada state line because it was just too dangerous. Emergency personnel and tow trucks had a hard time getting to people stuck in the roads because conditions were unbearable.
Not only would you be looking at slick conditions on the roads, you may not be able to see what's in front of you because of the strong winds blowing snow around.
Closer to home, China Peak also saw similar conditions. Saturday, the mountain resort was closed due to heavy snow and limited visibility traveling on Highway 168.
You may end up driving in an area and then see a sudden decrease in visibility, almost like the dense fog we have here, except now you're dealing with slick roads on top of it. And that's not really a situation you want to find yourself in. So stay away from travel in those areas, especially in the blizzard warning, because it may end up being too dangerous and ultimately not worth the trip.
But that didn't stop China Peak employees from grooming trails. And in the valley, a couple different tornado warnings were issued, including one that touched down Friday in Madera County. The National Weather Service says it tore down trees in an elementary school.
That storm took advantage of the good conditions for severe weather and ended up actually producing a very short-lived tornado.
With slick roads, whiteout conditions, and short-lived tornadoes, this storm was one for the books.
By definition, I would say it is historic just because it's pretty rare to see such strong winds, heavy precipitation, and then severe weather all happening at the same time.
Just off I-80, truckers get ready for the long haul.
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot at it and just take it easy.
Minutes after that interview, westbound traffic was briefly shut down.
You know, you get there when you get there. There's no rush, really.
Yeah.
Safety is the number one priority.
A touch-and-go day in the mountains for the thousands of 18-wheelers that drive over Donner Summit every day.
There are some companies that are rolling the dice that have sent their trucks over the hill to go into the ports and kind of keeping their fingers crossed.
Paul Enos is the CEO of the Nevada Trucking Association. He says most companies are adjusting.
We have some folks who have reduced their operations fairly tremendously, and then some folks have stopped all their westbound operations entirely.
Grocery stores tend to stock up before storms and usually have a 3-day supply of food. But some manufacturers can feel the effects of interstate closures immediately.
Trucks shutting down for some just-in-time manufacturing, which we do have some of that out at the Tahoe Arena Industrial Center. It could be just 1 to 2 hours before those production lines shut down or slow down because they don't have all the requisite parts.
Caltrans estimates over $4.7 million in goods is hauled over Donner Summit every hour. The items we need for daily life delivered by people who want to make it home to their families.
Just slow down. It's not worth it.
And all that snow can cause a major risk for avalanches, but it's not only the snow that can make things dangerous. Theron Zahn explains.
Avalanche danger can change rapidly in the mountains. What causes that change is varying snow levels and also varying types of snow falling. You can have weak layers of snow on top of strong layers, then a strong layer on top of that, causing slides eventually. Again, especially if you get some very wet snow on top of some previously compacted snow. So if you're going to the backcountry, certainly check the current avalanche conditions.
And while snow piled up on the Sierra Nevada, it was a very busy weekend in Texas, too. But they were occupied with a different element as firefighters worked to tamp down the largest fire in the state's history. These air tankers took off from Abilene Saturday afternoon and headed to drop fire retardant ahead of the Smokehouse Creek fire to help contain it. That blaze has charred more than 1 million acres since it broke out just a week ago, and it was just 15% contained as of Sunday afternoon. Officials in Texas are still trying to determine the cause of those wildfires. Let's turn to meteorologist Ed Russo for a look at some of the ways wildfires can start and how the weather helps them spread so quickly.
What really starts a wildfire? Oftentimes it's caused by a campfire or bonfire, something even as small as a cigarette butt that was improperly disposed. So when you have red flag conditions, meaning the air is super dry and you have gusty winds, you can easily have just one burning ember fly away, and maybe just 25 yards away, that burning ember will light up an entire tree in flames, and then the wildfire spreads from there. So you may have heard the term red flag warning. Well, what's that mean? That basically means that conditions are present for wildfires and the spread of them. So that means very low relative humidity, and that is usually combined with gusty winds, because gusty winds help the fire spread and also feeds the fire oxygen. So you don't want to burn leaves. You certainly don't want to be making bonfires or campfires when a red flag warning is issued by the National Weather Service. All of this stuff is very important, especially as we head into fire season, because if you make a mistake and just one burning ember or one improper disposal of a cigarette butt, that could light an entire forest in fire and send the whole place up in smoke. So to rehash, fire season is now, going all the way pretty much from spring through summer, even into the early part of the fall season. And keep in mind, most wildfires are caused by humans: campfires, bonfires, improper disposal of burning items like cigarette butts. And remember, just one single tiny little ember is enough in dry, windy conditions to light up a whole forest in fire.
Wow. Well, thank you for that report. And Saturday marked the start of Alaska's 2024 Iditarod sled dog race. 38 mushers in total hit the trail on Sunday. They'll spend the next 9 days trekking across 1,000 miles, including 2 mountain ranges and along the ice-covered Bering Sea. There's a special focus on safety in this year's competition after 5 dogs died and 8 were hurt in trainings leading up to the race. And coming up on the National Weather Desk, we're going to look at how this year's warm winter temperatures is causing an increase in unwanted pest sightings. And we head to Central Texas as we continue our countdown to the eclipse across America.
I'm meteorologist Ryan Munn with a look at the Northeast. As we head through the daytime today, we are looking at cloudy skies, but notice these temperatures. Very, very mild. Temperatures in the 50s and even lower 60s. Rain moves in as we head into the day on Tuesday all throughout the Northeast, and it will be steady at times as well. That will continue into early on Wednesday before eventually moving on out of here. But look at these temperatures. Very, very mild. We're looking at 50s and 60s south, 40s to the north.
Our Chief Meteorologist Gerard Javeli. Here's a look at the mid-Atlantic region. Some patchy fog possible as we begin your Monday morning, but we're looking mostly dry until a little bit later. We're only talking 3, 4 o'clock. We're going to be watching our storm system moving in, and we're looking at good chances of rainfall late Monday night and into Tuesday morning, but we're mostly clear after that point. We've got a busy, stormy pattern for the week ahead, but our temperatures are mild to start. Monday could still reach the mid-60s. We'll see some cooler temperatures to run in our way as we head a little bit later into the week.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your Southeast forecast. Highs for the day: 78 in Nashville, 76 in Birmingham, Raleigh at 69 degrees, 82 in Tampa, warm one there, Mobile 75 degrees. We're looking at an area of low pressure off the coast of the Carolinas, continues to move north, dropping some rain up towards Norfolk. A little bit of clearing over like Atlanta down I-75, but we have some storms moving through parts of Louisiana, heading into Jackson and over towards Pensacola as we get into the overnight, expecting some rain with the next system pushing into Florida.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
We continue our countdown to the solar eclipse across America. We are now only 35 days away. Officials estimate that as many as 720,000 visitors may head to Texas to see it, with thousands of Texans traveling locally to get a prime view. Meteorologist Chicago Windler from our Austin station has some tips on how to get a front row seat from a Texas state park.
31 Texas state parks are in the path of totality for the April 8th solar eclipse, including right here at Pedernales Falls State Park. But if you're hoping to view it from here, you'll need more than just eclipse glasses.
I highly recommend making reservations ahead of time.
If you wanted to camp at a Texas state park, reservations open back on November 7th, and it's probably too late. Here at Pedernales Falls, regular campsites will be closed for construction starting April 1st.
We'll be moving on before then, but I mean, on a spot like this, it has such natural splendor. It'd be a perfect spot to capture that.
Luckily, you still have time to get a day pass.
Those reservations will be available starting March 8th at 8 a.m. and you can make those reservations online, over the phone, and with the reservation in hand, you are guaranteed a spot.
Park interpreter Stephen Garman says extra staff and volunteers will be here to make the viewing extra special.
So we're going to be having several telescopes manned by the Austin Astronomical Society.
They'll be equipped with solar filters like this one.
It filters out most of the bright sunlight coming through and makes it safe for you to look even through a magnified lens.
And here's what you'll see.
It is a once-in-a-lifetime event in which the sun literally goes out and the entire area is put into shadow, into shade.
The moon passes between the sun and earth, completely blocking the face of the sun. Maximum totality in Texas is 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Here at Pedernales Falls,
it's supposed to be lasting for 3 minutes and 54 seconds.
Starting at 1:34 p.m. and ending at 1:38. That's more than 2 minutes longer than in Austin.
So, I mean, imagine being one of the lucky few to be here to experience that.
Capacity is limited to a few hundred parking spots, and once reservations are sold out, you're out out of luck.
Parking lots are going to be busy, but if you hike out to a spot like this or anywhere along any of our 40 miles of trails, you'll probably find some place to have a really peaceful view of the eclipse.
So plan ahead, plan for traffic, and hope the weather cooperates.
If it's cloudy on eclipse day, we'll be a lot of disappointed rangers, but we'll still be in a beautiful place like Pedernales Falls to enjoy hiking or whatever you'd like to do here.
In the Texas Hill Country, I'm Chicago Windler for the National Weather Desk.
And stay with the National Weather Desk as we count down the days until the April 8th eclipse. We also have much more on the eclipse posted on our YouTube channel. Just search the National Weather Desk and be sure to subscribe while you're there. Well, the unusually warm winter temperatures that many parts of the country have been experiencing can come with some unwanted company. Natalie Calzatoni looks at how the weather is causing some wildlife species to come out of hibernation a little early.
It's not designed to catch them, it's designed to feed them.
Jason DiBiase, owner of Rochester Pest Pro, says the warm temperatures have made wildlife go crazy.
The seasonably warm weathers is just made the insects come alive. The rodents are still really, everything's confused. You know, it's not quite summer, not spring, it's still winter.
Due to the abnormal weather, many insects, rodents, and animals have come out of hibernation. And DiBiase says as a result, homeowners are calling him for help.
With bats, for example, I mean, people are calling about a lot of bats in the house and stuff like that. Again, it's due to the seasonably warm weather. You know, we got a call yesterday for bees in February. I don't recall the last time that happened. So there's definitely something going on, and it's going to continue to impact.
The Genesee and Orleans County Health Departments recently put out a warning about a rise in the number of cases involving people encountering wild animals and strays with the warmer weather. In the past month, several residents have required rabies treatment as a result. DiBiase says there are steps you can take to ensure safety.
Just, pay attention to what's going on. If you get a bat in the house, for example, try to open the window. The bat hopefully will get the current and pick it up and try to get out. It's just as scared of you as you are them. So, but just, be vigilant. Leave the room, close the door. And if you come in contact with a bat or whatever and it's in a room, contact your doctor to see if you need to get, tested for rabies or whatever it may be.
He recommends calling a professional to remove any unwanted pests.
Nationwide snowfall trends are well below average. Meteorologist Matt Gunn is in Kirksville, Missouri with a look at what impacts less snow could have across the U.S. heartland.
Many people probably don't know that winter is the fastest warming season in most of the United States. With that being the case, since warmer air holds more moisture, we could see more snow when temperatures are below freezing. But in recent years, it seems we get most of our snow in short periods of time and not spread out throughout the entire winter season. Climate Central assessed snowfall trends in over 2,000 U.S. locations and found that nearly 2/3 of them are getting less snow than they did in the 70s. As the planet continues to warm, the number of days with temperatures less than 32 is expected to decline, which could lead to more rainy winter days instead of snowy winter days in the future. With less snow, water supplies who rely on snowpack will be impacted. Economically, snowmobile and skiing businesses will see a lack of business with a lack of snow. Finally, with the decline in the amount of snow, improvements to drought conditions will not be as noticeable throughout the winter. This could potentially lead to more wildfires taking place during the warmer parts of the year and us feeling the impacts for those out west right here in the heartland. I'm meteorologist Matt Gunn reporting.
Concerned about already high water levels before Florida's wet season, officials began discharging water from Lake Okeechobee back in February. As the water continues to flow into local estuaries, residents say it's creating an environmental catastrophe. Dylan Huberman has more.
It's environmental genocide. It's preventable. 3 weeks a month, this will all be brown.
Captain Rufus Wakeman has been out on the Indian River Lagoon and St. Lucie estuaries for decades and now owns River Palm Cottages and Fish Camp in Jensen Beach. He says he's tired of discharges pouring into the local estuaries, which started again February 17th.
It's unfair. It's unfair that the Caloosahatchee and the St. Lucie River keeps suffering this burden. We're losing what this place used to be. and it's all because of water quality.
It's also impacting business owners on and near the estuaries, like Rex Hannon, who owns Worldwide Flyworks in Jensen Beach. But he says this is much bigger than his shop.
It's going to affect everything from tourists to property values to not being able to walk the beach in a place where you moved to do exactly that.
We're getting to a point where we won't be able to bring it back.
Mike Holliday of Captains for Clean Water says the discharges from Lake O have to go south because he says the St. Lucie River and Indian River Lagoon are essentially being killed.
Until we stop the water from coming here, 100% of the water from coming here, it's not coming back. You can have the seagrasses come back and then they dump the water on it. It's just going to kill it.
The only way I see it changing is if people band together and raise their voice.
We have a beach here and kids are going to frolic in the water, and if kids can't go in the water, then that's just unacceptable.
Well, a very good Monday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael. We've got rain developing across the middle part of the Midwest for the day today. As we continue on into your Tuesday tomorrow, that rain will be moving its way more to the east, as you can see here. Temperature-wise, we'll be cooling down a little bit behind the rain, but still kind of mild out ahead of it. By the time that we get to Wednesday, a lot of us starting to dry out. Might get a few snow showers across the far northern plains for the middle of the week.
Good Monday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look at our forecast across the region, and it is feeling like spring, a spring-like pattern ahead this week. We'll start off today in the 70s, close to 80 across the region for most of us. We are watching for a pop-up shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon across this green-shaded region. That's a marginal risk level 1 out of 5 for severe storms. Hail and wind gusts are going to be the main threat tonight, and we'll watch for more storms into your Tuesday as well.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Rebecca Stevenson. Here's what's happening across the West. We've got temperatures cooler than normal all along the West Coast. As we are hammered by a blizzard in California, now those winds are easing through the day. We had a little bit of a drier break, but the next storm on slate to bring in plenty of rain and thunderstorms to parts of Oregon and Northern California. More heavy snow pushes in across Oregon and North California, gradually moving its way all the way into the Rockies through the course of the day. That's the scene from here.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
South Lake Tahoe is among the places in the Sierra Nevada that were pummeled with snow during the weekend. Here's what piled up on Friday and Saturday. More snow fell after, but not as intense. Here's what fell in 4 hours in part of Utah. Also in Utah, excessive high winds put these tumbleweeds on the move, and they overran this community in South Jordan.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Many people believe the coldest time of day to be in the evening or late at night, but the coldest time of day is actually in the early morning. Meteorologist Natalie Walters explains why on TikTok.
Why is the morning typically the coldest time of the day?
Well, a simple answer is that during the day, the sun is heating the Earth's surface and it gets warmer. Once the sun sets, we stop receiving that radiation, and all of that radiation that's at the Earth's surface then starts to escape up into space. So the coldest time of the day is going to be right after sunrise, once all of that heat has escaped before the sun starts heating the surface again.
Well, for more content like this, be sure to check us out on social media. Just search the National Weather Desk. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Amira David. Make it a great Monday, and we will see you right back here tomorrow.